Cris for some opening remarks, and then we'll open it up for questions. If you'd like to ask Curt or Cris a question, use the raise hand function and we'll get to as many of you as possible. Additionally, a recording of this press conference will be sent out following its conclusion. We'll now go to Curt.
Thank you, Pam. Good morning, all. Thank you for joining us today. Special shout out to our front office. Obviously, really appreciate all the work that went into planning the press conference and now the recent pivot to the virtual press conference to understandably be safe and cautious with the winter storm that is rolling into Dallas. I also would like to take a moment, with Cris and I still residing in LA, in an ocean community in LA, I'd like to send our thoughts and prayers to all those affected by the fires. Our heartful thoughts are with the LA community, and as with a sister who is a retired firefighter, also our thoughts are with the first responders out in LA. I also want to start with thanking many people here today. I want to start with our ownership group and their true commitment and support through the head coaching search. A big shout out to our CEO and managing partner, Greg Bibb. They have all been incredibly supportive and committed through this search. Greg's passion for the Wings is felt throughout our entire organization and is certainly contagious to all of us. I want to thank all the business ops and basketball ops that are joining us on the Zoom today. Obviously, we were going to have a tremendous turnout for the press conference here in Dallas, but I appreciate all the business ops and basketball ops that are with us today. Lastly, I want to thank our players, some who were flying in to join us for the press conference, and many others that we are going to be tuning in. So I really thank our players. And lastly, our loyal fan base for their continued support and excitement heading into the 25 season. It is truly an exciting time and a pivotal time for the Dallas Wings. With a new practice facility, a renovated arena on the horizon, with the #1 pick in the upcoming 25 WNBA draft, and now a new head coach to usher us into the new era, it is truly an exciting time. Before I introduce Cris and turn it over to him, I think it's prudent to explain how we got here today. We ran an extensive search, and I want to give a shout out to the assistant general managers, Travis Charles and Jasmine Thomas, who were with me throughout this entire search. It was a thorough search where we vetted and interviewed over 30 candidates, ranging from experience in the WNBA, the NBA, the collegiate game, and also the international game. The search took on a very, very extensive vetting of the candidates, but 4 pillars remained a big piece of us getting to this point today with Cris. #1 pillar, we were looking for a culture creator with high character and high integrity. The next pillar was looking for a coach with incredible basketball IQ, innovative basketball IQ, and then also a high EQ, looking for a coach that was never too high, never too low. Our third pillar, and maybe most importantly, a great communicator. A communicator with a servant's heart and a communication style that would resonate and connect with the players of today. And lastly, looking for an experienced winner. Those were the 4 buckets that we kept coming back to, and those are 4 buckets that Cris certainly checks. So without further ado, it is my extreme pleasure to introduce Cris Koclanes as the next head coach of the Dallas Wings.
Thank you, Curt. Thanks. It's an incredible moment. But first, again, I'd like to start by thanking everyone in our organization for all the planning and prep to put this press conference together. And again, apologize for the pivot, but appreciate all the hard work that went into today. And I think it's a good reminder for us all just to have perspective and balance, that yes, this is a very important moment, and there's so much going on that is more important than this, life, safety, health. So as Curt said, I too would just like to take a moment to send thoughts and prayers out to Los Angeles and everyone dealing with those devastating fires as well. So we're with you. Hope for the best and your safety. So thank you there. I'd like to thank Bill Cameron, Greg Bibb, and our ownership group, Curt Miller, Travis Charles, and Jasmine Thomas. I appreciate the belief and support, and I am super excited about the synergy that our front office and our coaching staff will have. I want to acknowledge my parents, Dean and Olympia, my sisters, Nicole, Belle, Allie, and Kristen, and my girlfriend, Chanel. Thank you for the love, the support, and the sacrifice. Also want to acknowledge all the head coaches that I've been lucky enough to serve in this journey, starting with Debbie Taylor, Go Tribe, Cindy Griffin, The Hawk Will Never Die, Cynthia Cooper, Fight On, Mark Track, Fight On, Lindsay Gottlieb, Fight On, and then, of course, Curt Miller here as well. Thank you for mentoring me and molding me into the coach that I am today. And lastly, to all their family, friends, colleagues, teammates, I have an incredible support system. I'm just so lucky to be surrounded by incredible people who believe in me. I'm me because of all of you. So thank you for helping me on this journey. And please don't stop. This is only the beginning. So with that, I'm grateful and humbled for the opportunity to lead this next chapter of Dallas Wings basketball. I understand the responsibility, and I will serve this organization with all my soul. I look forward to partnering with our players to establish a strong foundation and ultimately to create a sustainable championship culture on and off the floor. So with that, thank you, and go Wings.
We'll now open it up for questions. Again, use the raise hand function and we'll get to as many of you as possible. We ask that you state your name and affiliation and who your question is for. We'll go to Dorothy Gentry first.
Morning. Hi, Coach. This is Dorothy Gentry, D Magazine. Couple of questions. Hi, Curt. Couple of questions for you, Coach. What made you believe that now was the time for you to make this jump, to make this move? And then secondly, what about the Wings team has you the most excited?
Hi, Dorothy. Thanks for tuning in. First part of that question, why now? Why am I ready now? It was just the right time. I've been lucky enough to work in this game for a while and to have been able to be around incredible coaches and leaders who have given me opportunities and put me in positions to gain all sorts of experience, to be able to now step into the role of head coach and give a shot at doing this thing my way. So that's number one there. And then with this opportunity here in Dallas, so many reasons why this opportunity was the one. I'm excited about, first off, the support of the front office with Curt and Travis and Jazz. Having that type of support and belief in the front office is incredible. There's so many things going on in Dallas right now, the momentum here, the energy, the investment, the belief, it's felt and it's real. And then with our roster, I'm excited to work with our players, and it's an evolving roster, but, with Arike, the superstar she is, her ability to score the ball, and the incredible person that she is, and in a pivotal moment in her career where she's ready to take a next step with her leadership to move this Wings team into a consistent contender. I'm just excited to get to be a small piece of that.
We'll go to Alexa Philippou.
Hi, Cris, and hi, Curt. Congratulations, Cris, and it's great to talk with you all today. Cris, I just wanted to ask if you could speak about your kind of defensive mind, and I know that's something that when your hire was announced was something the Wings were really highlighted, and that's something you worked with when you were working under Curt as a defensive coordinator. So how do you see, I guess, building more of like a defensive foundation for the Wings moving forward? There's been a team that struggled on that end of the floor for the last few years. So is it a matter of getting, more schematic adjustments, more buy-in from current players, attracting free agents that have that defensive mind? I guess what are the steps you see in trying to grow on that end of the floor?
Yep. Hi, Alexa. Appreciate you. Thanks for the question. Yeah, so with my time with Curt in Connecticut, he is pegged as an offensive guy, so I was able to help on the other side of the ball and, again, given opportunities to really take the reins on that side of the ball. With defense, the first thing is it's all effort. It's all desire. So there has to be a baseline standard and demand of we are going to compete on this side of the ball. So it starts there, right? It starts with a commitment and an effort to want to play on that side of the ball. And I think that comes with just the consistency of our communication, right? You are what you emphasize. So I think that's where it all starts. And then, when you try to get a little more specific in terms of, well, what will it actually look like? You start with your personnel, understand who we have, their abilities, and you try to put them in positions to be successful. And at the same time, don't limit them, challenge them that they're capable of more to be able to impact the game more on that side of the ball. So those are some things, but big picture, I think it's a desire, it's a discipline to want to compete, and then finding ways to disrupt offense. And that's ultimately what it comes down to. Can you guard the ball? Can you crowd the floor and give these incredible players, making sure they're seeing crowds of bodies? And then ultimately, can you make an offense do something it's not most comfortable doing? So we'll see what we have, what we're capable of, and we'll be consistent with our effort and our messaging every day to compete on that side of the ball.
And just to quickly follow up, is that, especially like free agency coming up, or is that something you're looking for, like defensive mindedness in anyone that you guys are looking to bring to Dallas?
Yeah, I think it's always part of the conversation. I'm lucky to have Curt as a thought partner here with Travis and Jazz, as well as we see who's out there and what their skill sets are and how and what they can bring to this roster. But definitely, my mind goes that way. So it might be my first instinct. Okay, they're incredible here. How about on this side of the ball? Or I really like them for their ability to guard, because the players in this league are just so talented. So to have somebody who can guard one-on-one even. But one other thing too is I think we value IQ. We do. We value players that can really think the game. And so we can help them to be able to put them in positions to read and feel and then use, their natural talents and athleticism and gifts to go make plays. So a balance of IQ with there as well is definitely something that we value.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
We'll go to Sean Hamilton, WFA.
Hey, Coach. Welcome to town and in your new role. That's just really exciting. I'm Sean Hamilton with WFAA, the ABC here in Dallas. I just wanted to ask, with the potential addition of someone like Paige Beckers to the wings, how do you think her presence will play into what your game plan is for this team? And then with stars like Caitlin Clark, what role do these young talents play in inspiring the next generation and helping grow the game?
Hi, Sean. Thank you. Our game is at a great moment. It's a great point in time for women's basketball right now, and credit to these players who have earned all of this interest, all the eyes, all the increased attention that is coming. It's all about them, and it should be. To your point of mentioning Caitlin Clark and Paige, they're just incredible talents, and they're fun to watch. And so, they're raising the level, and they're bringing more attention to our game, and it's great. It's only good for the game. We're lucky to have the number 1 draft pick. We're excited about that and the momentum that can bring. Paige is a part of that draft class, and it's going to be a very talented draft class, and we're excited to be able to pick one and add a piece that will improve our roster, just bring another level of excitement to what we're building and establishing here in Dallas.
Go to Doug Feinberg next.
Hey guys, good to see you. A question for both of you in the same brain. Just how much did familiarity help Curt? You choose Cris, and Cris, you feel comfortable knowing, hey, I know Curt, I've worked with him, I feel comfortable moving on to Dallas.
Hey, Doug. Yeah, I'll start. I view it as such a positive and a benefit for me, stepping into a first-time head coaching role, to have Curt here alongside me, and the support and belief. He's empowered me my whole career. He's given me opportunities to stretch myself and challenge myself and be prepared and ready for this moment. So, I'm excited about it, and I am aware at the same time, people from the outside thinking, okay, he's coached forever. Now he's stepping into a front office role. Like, are you concerned about that? And I am not in the slightest. He's an incredible mentor, incredible leader, and an even better friend. And to have him there as a thought partner is going to be fantastic. And then as we work together and establish boundaries, he is going to do everything he can to help me. And support me in how I and how our staff and how our players want to create this culture and this product on the floor. So I couldn't be more excited.
Hey, Doug. Yeah, I think obviously the synergy that we have is special. But I will tell you, in the process, it was probably almost a little unfair to Cris. As the process started and we started to interview, while I knew what our pillars and our buckets were that were important, I was also very conscious that I had some biases of how talented Cris was, and checked those boxes. But it was probably even to a detriment that we were headed down a different road in different directions. But the more we vetted, we narrowed to a second wave, we narrowed to a third wave, and as we continued to keep narrowing, and it got right down to decision-making time, obviously knowing how talented Cris is, how ready he is, and the buckets that were important to us. And then, understandably, when we made the decision, and I watched the reaction of Jasmine Thomas, an important piece in all this, who played under Cris for 8 years, and how excited she was for the organization, how excited she was. I knew we had made the right decisions. The inpouring since the announcement around the league, who Cris has touched, from executives to other players in the league, and the compliments that we got for stepping forward and hiring Cris, has been unbelievable, and just reinforces what a great decision and what a great era we're going into under Cris in Dallas.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks.
Go to Jackie Powell.
Good morning, Curt and Cris. Thanks so much for taking the time. I've got one for each, if that's all right. Cris, for you, there's been a lot of discussion, obviously, about diversity on coaching staffs and in front offices in the WNBA over the years, and it's fluctuated over the years. I'm just curious how you plan on building a staff behind you to give opportunities to maybe former players and other diverse coaches around the women's basketball world.
Thanks, Jackie. Absolutely. It's important, and it's top of mind for me. So as we look to establish our coaching staff, that is top of mind, surrounding our players with, first off, the best possible people, right? Incredible human beings that will be there to support them and challenge them and make them better. And to your point, I think it's very important having diversity on our staff so that our players can have representation, and we can support and empower former players and give them opportunities to continue to grow and do what they want to do as they continue, different professions and pursuing coaching opportunities. So it's important and it's top of mind, and I don't say that lightly, and I truly believe in that. And I'm excited about this staff that we're going to put together, selfishly for myself, because it's a great collection of people who are going to challenge me and make me better. They're better than me. They're smarter than me, and they're going to help me be my best. And then also for our players, they're just going to, our synergy and connectivity together will be able to model the way. And when they see how we treat each other and how we just show up daily, it'll be a great foundation modeling the way for our players. So I'm excited about how our staff is coming together, and you all will know that shortly.
I appreciate that. Curt, for you, I'm just curious what your goal is in year one going into free agency, because in 2026 the league sort of becomes the wild, wild west. So how do you sort of approach the year before that in 2025?
Yeah, Jackie, I think you've heard Cris mention this in times where he's been in front of media already, that the word for us this year is foundational. And we're trying to create a true foundation, not only in style of play and what our pillars are on and off the floor, but also in free agency. I will tell you, Chris's hiring will resonate throughout this league in free agency. The players that he has coached, the players that talk about him to other players, is impactful. And so I'm excited to be in those battles here shortly. But we're trying to build something that out of the gates is foundational and sustainable. That's a pillar of mine throughout my coaching career in 35 years in women's basketball, is the ability to have sustained success. And so I will look out for the franchise, but I also will try to help put the roster together that Cris would love to coach. He's the chef. I'm trying to help with the ingredients so he can go cook with these players and who he can be successful with. So we're excited. We just got back together, but it's nonstop talking about free agency and where we're headed into the future.
Thank you both so much, and congratulations, Cris.
We'll go to Howard Megdal next.
Cris, Curt, thank you for taking the time. Always good to chat with you both. One for each of you, if I could. Cris, just to start with you, when you are presenting your vision for this women's team over time, Curt mentioned the idea of building a foundation. I'm wondering whether you view this as a team that's a year removed from the WNBA semifinals, and therefore success in the playoffs is something reasonable in year one, or whether this is now a building that's starting, and if you have an arc that you extend out several years, just sort of chronologically how you view this.
Yep. Thanks, Howard. So I'll start with, I don't think it's a build, and I think it's, we want to establish a foundation, and I think it starts in the locker room first. It starts with our culture. And I truly believe that when we come in and we hire good people first, and free agency's over and training camp's over, and we've established a roster filled with great people as well, now we start to build our systems, and we do it the right way. We don't take any shortcuts. We show up every day with the same consistent effort approach in establishing what our systems are going to be on and off the floor, in how we treat each other, in what kind of teammates we are, in what we're running offensively, in what we're doing defensively. I truly believe that you focus small, you have attention to the details, and then the rest takes care of itself. And that's, how we found success in Connecticut. It's every way that I've been mentored. You can't think about, success, failure, if we don't make the playoffs, if we don't get this far. It's as cliche as it is, but that's how you do it. You focus small, step by step, and you trust that you're doing it the right way, and that the results will take care of themselves. And they usually do.
I appreciate it. And Curt, for you, just to speak to a couple of specific ingredients that you are preparing, where do you think things are with Satou Sabally specifically? Is she a priority in free agency for you? And, obviously there's a lot of conversation around Paige, who has a decision to make. Is this something that where the Wings have been in contact with Paige or with any representatives for her as you guys figure out sort of what that number one looks like for you?
Yeah, I think Howard first, off is first you have to compliment Satou's career to this point. She, when healthy, is an elite player and is a difference maker. And so you have to compliment it. You realize the talent she is. I'm also involved through the years with USA Basketball and where she helped raise Germany's national team, and their success in the recent Olympics can be accredited back to Satou. So we absolutely recognize the talent and what she means to and can impact this league. In terms of the draft, it's such a momentum for us. It will take, it's still months away, but the momentum is building. We know what number one draft picks can do to this league, how they've impacted other franchises. We've watched that through the years. So, truly, truly exciting time to have the number one pick and use that as momentum heading right into training camp in this new era, and Chris's new system is exciting. And I know our current players can't stop talking about it, and with the number one pick joining them.
Thank you both.
Thanks.
Let's go to Rob with podium finish.
Thank you so much. Excuse me, Rob Tianza from the podium finish. My question is for Cris. Cris, congratulations on becoming the head coach for the Wings. Piggybacking on Alexa's earlier question, you're well known for your defensive approach. We saw that in Los Angeles, Connecticut, and USC. How do you see that helping the team's identity, given how they were strong on offense but had that area of opportunity on defense? And how do you look to put your experiences in building this team's identity for the season?
Thank you, Rob. First, I'll say this, that, again, we had really great years and we performed on that side of the ball, and that's mostly the players, right? Credit to the players. These players are just so good. They're so talented. So how can you help them, though? So that's where I think we'll really strive to just be really intentional and create clarity in everything we do, but especially on that side of the ball. So, again, the more on the defensive side of the ball, the more clarity you can have in terms of being proactive, feeling what's about to come, like how is the offense attacking us, what's about to happen. The more you can feel that, be proactive, be a step ahead, move and put yourself in a position to then have success, then you really lay a good foundation for having success defensively. So I think I talked about it earlier, but just a consistency in our approach. We'll be a team that understands the scout and really, really takes that to heart and has a full commitment of all five connected and communicating on that side of the ball, understanding what's about to happen. And then now they can go and do what they do best, right? So it'll give them more confidence. And when they can play confident and free, then that's when special things can really happen. So that's what we'll strive to do.
Thank you so much. Look forward to working with you.
A question in the chat from Landon Thomas for Cris. What coaching skills or development did you gain in your time under Curt Miller that will help you transition into this role as a head coach?
Not much, really. So, thanks, Landon. So I think first off, you win in the locker room first. It's always been Curt's message and theme and how he backs it up, right? So it's all about person over player first. They've got to know you care, and that's got to be genuine and authentic, right? They feel phony. You can't fake it. So you have to be you in how you approach everything, and with intention of creating a good culture and understanding that goes a long way, right? You can overachieve with good people and good systems and doing things the right way. You can certainly overachieve on the floor. So it starts there. And then it's all about preparation. Put yourself in a position to have success, right? Do the work, respect the process. You can work to put yourself in a position and have a plan. You control that. That's what you can control, is your preparation daily. And it's in your practice planning, it's in your team meetings, in your messaging, it's in everything that you do, your preparation. And then lastly, collaborating. really utilizing the people around you from every facet, our coaching staff to the support staff to the front office. It's leveraging everyone around you because they're there to help you. So seek opinions, seek differing opinions, gather as much information as you can to then ultimately have to make all the decisions that you have to make. So collaboration. Win in the locker room first, prepare like crazy, and then collaborate and really use your people.
Go to Joey Mistretta.
Hi, Curt. Hi, Coach. Welcome to Dallas. I kind of have a two-part question. You're taking over a team now for Coach with Enrique Ogunbowale, who is one of the best players in the league. You mentioned earlier that this is an important part of her career. I'd love if you could maybe elaborate on that comment. And then also, she's kind of a versatile guard. She can play the 1 or the 2. How do you plan to utilize her within this offense?
Yep. Thanks, Joey. Yeah, I mean, she's accomplished so much already, right? With all her all-star appearances, her MVPs of the all-star game, fastest to 4,000 points. She's proved already that she is one of the best scorers that this game has ever seen. I think for Enrique, as we continue to build our relationship and I continue to learn her and what makes her go and her whys, I'm excited to just see how I can help her get to that next level. And that next level is, leading a team and to a championship, and what that ultimately looks like in leading on and off the floor. So I'm excited to be able to partner with Enrique and use her as a thought partner and value and leverage all her experiences, and really value that partnership. So she's dynamic, right? How are we going to utilize her on and off the ball? You can plug her anywhere. She can always go and get a bucket whenever you need. So that's always, as a coach, it's nice to have that. And at the same time, how can we help her, right? How can we help her not have to take so many difficult shots all the time? So that's what we'll try to do, is put people around her and establish a trust and togetherness offensively to where, we'll give up good shots to get great shots. We trust that our teammate's going to knock down an open shot. And we're going to work together to help each other get space and get to spots on the floor where then she can have success and do what she does best and utilize her, creative skills and just incredible playmaking and scoring.
The question in the chat from Nancy Lieberman. Cris, welcome to Dallas. Excited for you. Where do you see the WNBA's open flow offense heading with the extraordinary talent? How can the defense slow it down for us this season?
Hi, Nancy. Go Monarchs. I am an Old Dominion alum, so love that. So much history there at ODU. I was lucky enough to get to experience some of that throughout college. But yeah, everything is trending towards 5 out, flowing, shooting threes, and we're right there. I believe in that. And you see, the 2 teams that were in the finals this year, right? New York and Minnesota, right at the top of the league in terms of 3-point shooting and sharing the ball with assists. So it's definitely an important piece. And at the same time, you still have to understand who our personnel is and where they are successful. So I think it's a balance of, yes, having these beliefs and a style that we want to play, and sure, constructing a roster that promotes that and will help that. And at the same time, who's here right now? Can we challenge them to continue to grow and expand their game while at the same time leveraging what they're really good at already and putting them in positions to have success? Was there a last piece of that on the defensive side?
Yeah, how will the defense slow it down for us?
How do they slow down 5 out?
For us, defensively, how do you slow that down, right? I think an overall commitment to not take plays off and compete on that side of the ball and just desire. I talked about it, right? It's a desire and a will defensively, right? We'll have schemes. We'll do everything we can to take away first and second options and make an offense have to get to a third option, something that they're not as comfortable doing. And then we'll live. Like if we can say we did all our prep work, we felt good about our game plan, there's going to be nights when offense is just win, because that's how good this league is. That's how good players are. You can do everything right, and then somebody can still go make a play. So, as long as we can feel good about our preparation, about our approach, and then about our communication in game of, was our original plan, was it off? Were we just off? We weren't giving great effort. And then just being honest with each other of, okay, it's not working. Let's find an adjustment. Let's try something different. But defense is hard, right? The offense has the ball, so you're always reacting to what they're trying to do. But we'll do our best to try to dictate on that side of the ball and impose our will.
Time for a couple more. We'll go Matt with the short horn.
Okay, I have one. Congratulations to you both. My first question for Cris is, you've detailed your extensive coaching history, and how has your experience with Juju Watkins specifically helped you, coach, be ready to coach a prospect like potentially Juju or Paige Beckers or Olivia Miles at the next level alongside Enrique?
Thanks, Matt. Yeah, great question. Juju is just an incredible talent, and was lucky enough to be around her for this last season and a half and get to experience all that she is and all that she brings. So I think mostly what you understand is, at the end of the day, she's still a person who just loves basketball and is all about the game, and you really respect that. I know it can get lost. You see her on State Farm commercials. She's so big. She's so much bigger than the game, and it's important because little girls are seeing her and they're seeing what they can become, and she's just breaking down barriers and pushing the needle and bringing everybody with her and getting people what they deserve and what they deserve at this point. But I think what I'll take is, behind all that, she's a hooper. She just wants to be in the gym. She loves the game, and that's usually the common thread about those who are really great is, it's the game that made them great, and they have such a respect and a work ethic, and I'm excited to continue to work with those kind of pros. I mean, they're all throughout our league, right? There's so many talented players on and off the floor, but basketball is usually the main thing, right? And then that has opened doors to all the other rewards that they deserve. So.
And then my one for Curt. You talked about the pillars and the buckets that you guys went through to find a new coach. How much of that was your prior relationship to Cris, and how much did that play a part in you bringing him along in Dallas?
Yeah, Matt. Again, and the last question, Cris is. One of the things that's been really impressive when you really look at his resume is the elite players that he has had the opportunity to impact and coach. When you talk about JJ and now an MVP, Alyssa Thomas is one of the elite players in the world, DeWanna Bonner, all those great players that filtered through, the Connecticut time and Courtney Williams, and then go out and immediately start to coach NECA. So it's just amazing the impact that he's had and the players that he's worked with already. Our search was thorough. Again, as I shared with Doug Feinberg, that, was probably a little bit unfair at one point in the process. And Greg pulled me aside at one point and said, "Why are you afraid to hire him? If he's the best person, let's go." And, hearing that from ownership and management, that, how much Cris has impacted the game. He has spent 8 years in the WNBA. He walks in right now only behind Cheryl, Sandy, and Steph as the coach now with the most years in the league on the sideline. He's the fourth most experienced coach in the league on the sideline in our league with those 8 years that he's been in this league. And so that experience around the best of the best in the best league in the world impacted us, but I know what quality of person he is, first and foremost, a servant's heart, the culture of joy that he wants to create. He wants this group to have fun playing and bring fun back into the game, and that resonates with me. His demeanor and his communication style resonates so well with today's athlete and with today's player that I'm just truly excited to watch him build this Wings team into a champion.
Kane McCutcheon next.
Hey guys, Kane McCutcheon with the Fans First Sports Network. For you, Cris, we talk so often about the development of rookies, and almost equally as important, you have a lot of important second and third year players on your team, J.C. Shelton, Maddie Seegers. How important is their development, and what do you bring to the table on that front?
Thanks, Cade. Yeah, super important, right? How are we helping them to get better on a daily basis? So what I'll strive to do, and I think it's important, is our staff, right? Who are we surrounding them with? We're going to surround them with incredible leaders that have great experiences that are going to be able to challenge them on and off the floor to continue to grow. And then just specifically with me, I am a teacher through film, and that's my background as a video coordinator early on and through this league. It's how I've gotten to where I've gotten, is just pouring over the game through film, and then the ability to now communicate that to players and show them, how I can help them. And a lot of has been through film in the past, and then, stepping into an assistant coach more now, taking that film and now on the floor, translating it and putting them in position. So it's really important, and I'm looking forward to working with them and challenging them to continue to improve with their IQ and how they feel and see and understand the game. And then just, day to day with our player development on floor with, their skills. So a little bit of everything, but I think the teaching aspect, and primarily with a film focus, can help.
We'll go to Ilvin Parker.
Hey, good morning. Thank you. This is Ivan Parker with SGWF Media. Hi, Curt. This question is for Coach Cris Koclanes. I've been working on it. So I recently seen your sit down on the Dallas Wings YouTube channel, and I must commend your display of servant leadership. I was impressed with two things. One, your blanket on the sofa, and secondly, your champion and winning dialogue. So you use words as empowering, amplifying, togetherness, consistency. Coming into a season, another sellout season by the ticket holders, how do you plan on impressing the fans and establishing an identity who was left out last season with wanting more from the team's on-court performances in the thoughts of game day strategy and turning defense into offense?
Thanks, Ivan. I heard you say impressed there. So what I've always been about is, it's not about me, and it's about others and everyone else, and how can I make them better. So I'm not here to impress anybody. I'm here to impact, and I'm here to help. So that's what I'm going to do, is take all my experiences, everything I've learned, and challenge myself in different ways to best reach these players and be able to have an impact on them and show them that I care for them and can help them on the floor. So that's number one. And with my background being defense, that's where I'll lead, and I'll tend to, that's the comfort zone. And you've got to coach what you know. And so I'll have more comfort on that side of the ball early. There's no doubt in that. And at the same time, won't shy away from the offense. It excites me now to be able to have both sides of the ball and to be able to implement a system and a style and a language on both sides of the ball. So while defense will be important and a staple and an identity for us, I'm looking forward to building that same kind of identity on the offensive side as well.
We have time for two more. We'll go DJ Moreau. You're up next.
Congratulations, Coach. I have a question for Coach Miller and Coach Koclanes. Coach Miller, what is your biggest area of concern for the Wings in free agency? And for Coach Koclanes, obviously you're coaching one of the most versatile players in Satou Sabally. What is your approach for, coaching her this upcoming season, and the style of play for the team with her?
Concerns, I look at our free agency as an exciting time. And while our practice facility is not up and running, talking about the horizon of our practice facility coming online, a renovated arena, the momentum of adding a number one pick to the roster, there's so much to sell in free agency, and so less excitement about what we have coming and what we do have now and the new era and joining Cris than concerns. Obviously, all 13 teams are going to be trying to get better. Free agency is a very, very short window. It's speed dating on steroids. Let's face it. It is really, really a quick time period. So more than anything, you don't have a lot of time to establish relationships. You don't have a lot of time to share your visions and your goals and how each player fits in. So you only get a short window, a shot to impress these free agency on why Dallas, why now. I guess that would be, the only thing that I would say is it's such a short window to impress these players to now join this new era that we have.
Yep. So again, Satou has meant so much to this organization on and off the floor. Has been such a big piece, and her game speaks for itself, right? She's so versatile in everything that she can do. So, there's just always excitement when you think about a tool like that and how you can potentially utilize something like that.
Go to Anthony Council.
I have a question for both. So let's kind of move past, when free agency happens and you guys get what you want, what are the main goals for this season? It being your first season, what are the main goals and what are you looking forward to when you enter, let's just say, the first game of the season and on?
Go to Curt first.
Win. We are in professional basketball. We're in a business to win games. But again, I repeat, like what Cris is consistently talking about is creating a foundation, creating the pillars of expectations of what's important. I really want to build a team that our fan base can connect with, that is excited to come. Obviously, with 5 months before the season tickets selling out, shows you how much excitement is around this franchise right now, and just wanting this team to connect with that fan base and with the community is really important for me and my role. And then my goals are to try to support Cris and the coaching staff that he is assembling in any way that I can to support them in order to help them build what we all want and the culture and the play on the floor. But first and foremost, these players and treating them, super special. I come here envying some of the things that Dallas does for their players, where they stay, how they traveled, compared to where I just recently came from. So I just envy a lot of that and want to continue, to put our players first. I want this to be a player-first franchise, and they feel it from top to bottom.
The goal is always to win. But how do you get there? So my goal year one, again, to establish that foundation, to pour into our players, to lead by example, so that we can create something here that ultimately I want it to feel good for them, right? I want it, regardless of the wins or losses, I want them at the end of the year to say, yes, like that felt good on a daily basis in terms of our approach and how they were treated fairly and respectfully, and how we communicated with each other. And again, I truly believe that you focus on those small details day in and day out, you're intentional and you're consistent, that the winning happens. It takes care of itself. So that's my goal, is to pour into these players, player relationships, player experience, and then figure out how to reach them and how I and my staff can impact them and help them on the floor. And then ultimately winning games comes.
Final question to Walt.
How you doing, Coach? Real quick, wanted to ask you how you felt about coming into the number one draft pick situation. And also for both of you, I wanted to know if you can approve our nicknames for you. We got Coach CK and Captain Kirk.
Whatever you want to call me works with me. Coach CK is great, and I love your background, by the way.
Thank you.
And I'm just extremely excited to be here and to be a part of all of this. A number 1 draft pick, the excitement that it brings to an organization, you can feel it already. So we're going to bottle that up. We're going to build on it. We're going to take that momentum into training camp as we look to establish something exciting, something healthy, and something ultimately sustainable for long periods of success. So,
I just think you're seeing a glimpse. This press conference is a glimpse into Cris and why, I've been bullish through the years in the WNBA when he was an assistant, that I thought he was the top assistant, in the league. When I think back now to the 22 finals that we were in, and you look down the bench at Becky's staff, and 2 of them are now head coaches in the league, and Cris is a head coach, and Brandy Poole, who just recently was named a part of the Atlanta staff, is another person that will be a head coach in this league. To know, that finals, the next generation is now leading some of these franchises. But you're just getting a glimpse of what I've had super special for 8 years of sitting next to me and really being a partner in some incredible teams, an incredible run. From 2016 to from 2017 through 2022, those 6 years, no team won more regular season games, and that a huge part of that credit was to Cris and that Connecticut team through the years. But you're just seeing a glimpse of his high character, his servant's leadership, his servant's heart, his basketball IQ. You're just getting a glimpse of what I've had a special seat next to for 8 years in this league, and I can't wait for our fan base and the league to learn about Cris more and more.
So Captain Curt is basically perfect.
I don't mind it.
Okay.
Thanks, Walt. And thank you, Curt and Cris. That'll conclude today's press conference. Thank you all for participating. A recording of this will be sent out shortly. Thanks.
Thank you.